Hi, Brad Ward here, Ward's Auctions. It is October 2019 and time again for our annual premier Thanksgiving Day auction. Not exactly sure how many we've had of these, but I think the first one I was still in short pants, so it's been quite a long time. We got about 500 lots, really exciting. We're really lucky to have some of the consignments that we have in the sale today. One of the things that's made it a little bit easier over the years is there's a handful of people, a large handful of people, that save consignments. They're the regular consigners, and they save items for this sale. So come September every year, boom, all of a sudden we have a good nucleus of the auction. So and they know that we want the cream pieces. So we're going to give you a quick buzz through the building, and I'll ramble on about a couple of the estates and the things that we had going on as we go by. The sale itself is going to be on Thanksgiving Monday. Now this is in Canada, so this is October 14th is our Thanksgiving. So those of you that are looking or watching down in the U.S., the sale's a daytime sales on the Monday. And it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll open the doors on that Monday at 9 o'clock, so you do have time to view that day. The better option for the locals is to come on the Friday, the 11th, and from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock, 11802 145th Street, Edmonton, Alberta, is when you can come and properly view the sale. And that's really important because the better you can see things, the better informed your bidding can be. So we have a nice selection of original artworks. I won't talk about all of them. A lot of European pieces. This one is a Dick Van de Hogan original on paper here. We have a nice selection of clocks in different styles. 3 completely different styles of long case clocks. This is a miniature, or a diminutive long case clock, effectively, or a grandfather clock, 436 in your catalog, mahogany. You could have this on a piece of furniture or hanging on the wall. It was hanging on the wall in the house that we took it out of. Some vintage prints there, military etchings. We're going to talk about some of the military pieces later on as we go. Lot number 257 is a Bang & Olufsen mid-century Danish stereo system, including, and there is some paperwork here, the Bio Center 7000 record player radio system, and the BioVox S80 Sierra 80 speakers. 2 of those. We won't play it right now, but it is working very well as far as the radio and receiver and the record player goes. The cassette player does have an issue, and again, that's why you want to come and have a look at it in person to see if it's something that you can work with. Extra nice quality, beautifully reupholstered furniture in the sale. This is more of a mid-century. There's also Victorian from the same house. Huge house in Edmonton that we didn't empty out completely, but we took quite a bit of stuff. And they had really neat decor, including this, which is actually an antique mill wheel hub. Not sure where it came from, what the origin was, but really neat piece that they were using as a side table, of course. Antique speaker is a Tower brand speaker with a castle motif. There's a more modern, or semi-modern, I guess, long case clock. The smaller of 2 matching wardrobes, some original artwork. Again, this is another of the little reupholstered pieces, and this is only second one that came out of the same house, and this is a little settee set. This is a watercolor, framed watercolor, from Edwin St. John, painted in 1909, dated in the bottom there, and there's also 2 other pieces in the sale from the same artist. So obviously when I first looked at it, I thought it was a print. Very well executed, gorgeous piece. Antique bamboo set here. This is a coffee dispenser. I don't know if it's supposed to sit on a floor, but then it would be really low down for dispensing, or if it's a countertop piece, but it's awfully big for a countertop piece. But definitely interesting. Victorian crank table. There's 2 leaves. There's 1 leaf in it right now. And here's the crank. Make sure you don't forget the crank. And then and there's another leaf just like it that goes in it. It has had some restoration work at some point. There's a tag underneath it. Can't remember what the company was, but it was an Edmonton business. And you get 6 Victorian balloon-back chairs with it, all ready to take home and enjoy. This is the other St. John pieces that I mentioned here. Victorian sideboard. Another clock. This one does work. It's not working right now. We just stopped it so we wouldn't have to wind it. Very large. I'm not sure how the movers got it off the wall, because if you saw where it was in the house, you'd be, they had to get a forklift somehow inside the house to do it with. Singer featherweight sewing machine. There's a few bronzes. Avenging Warrior is this one. There's a few in the sale. This is actually a stereo cabinet that somebody has very effectively converted to a drop front desk, and there's even a little invisible drawer. It doesn't quite latch. It's supposed to latch right there with a mechanism underneath, It needs a little bit of TLC, but they manufactured that into there as a semi-invisible drawer. But somebody did a heck of a nice job. They had definitely a skill set. Mid-century lamp here, knitting table. Some nice antique lamps, slag glass and cast. There's also slag and mission oak. Here's another slag glass piece here. So again, very, very nice selection of lamps. This is a really interesting bench. It's oak, original finish by the looks of it. There's even a maker tag or a retailer tag inside there. You could probably find it 194 in the catalog. But it also folds down, and it's like a console. So it's a console, then it's a bench at the hall, whatever you like. Some nice European original artwork. A gong. We don't have the mallet for it, but definitely a neat piece. This was in decor as decor outside, but it had a big overhang, so it wasn't so much in the weather, but it was outside. Victorian server. There's several. There's like 2 or 3 lots of irons like this that are all different. Not the sort of stuff that you see every day. We do have an interesting selection. I think, oh boy, is it a month or 6 weeks ago? We mentioned on our Facebook, and maybe even in the last video, I don't remember, about the stuff that come down from Yellowknife, the pallets of stuff. We've been picking through it, and this is some of the stuff that goes along in that. And so, again, it was a nice eclectic collection, and we're selling them in larger lots. You got like a dozen pieces all as one lot. So, and I think there's 2 or 3 lots like that in the sale. These are all original artworks. You need to go through the catalog. You need to look at all the pictures that Steve's put on there. If there's a signature, he zooms in on it, helps you identify pieces. When we know the artist, obviously we put it on there. Edwardian sideboard looks like, slate clock. Kind of a neat piece here. This, again, was outside with the gong. This is not the same house as all the upholstered pieces I mentioned. It was another very large house that we've taken stuff out of. 3 large, huge houses that came for stuff, including this one here. This is a house we haven't even talked about yet. This is interesting. This is an international sterling set. Enchantress is the pattern. It's all well described. Now, in this case, we're not selling the box with it. The box, the drawer part is empty. The box is being sold as a separate lot, right, one after another. And there's also the invoice or receipt for the flatware, at least the original probably package, if not, it may not be all of it, dated December 28th, 1939. So obviously we want to keep that with it, kind of a fun thing. And then the box, which is the next lot after, is designed to hold a lot of pieces, because you got that row of 12 knives there, and there's a room for another row of 12 behind it. So there's the setting of 12 in here, and it's only half full, nothing in the drawer yet. So awesome piece. Here's a transit. Unusual, probably English oak hall stand. Does have the tray in the bottom for your sticks and umbrellas to catch the drippings, which is still intact. And all these hooks, it's definitely a different style. At first when it came in, I'm like, oh, some of these are broken. No, they're not. They're supposed to be like this. This is original. It looks like original finish, and definitely an interesting, unusual piece. There's more pieces back there I'm sure I've missed out on. Whale vertebrae, pretty sure is what that is, all carved up. Did not find a signature on that one. More original artwork up top. Very well balanced as far as the cabinet goes on that long case clock, and it's working quite nicely. Another trunk there. Export A glass for advertising glass. Great selection of either new or virtually new Persian carpets. You can tell which ones have a bit of age, but there are some, that I think are brand spanking new. I don't think this has ever been on a home floor, and what a nice selection. There's 2 of those, so if you had a spot, there's 2 of those. Original artworks back there, including the little Meredith Evans. The other ones are more European. This is an interesting one here. It's actually made by Kroller. It's supposed to have 2 of these. This is the leg, not just the handle. This is the leg that would go on the ground. But it is a hide-a-bed. I'm just going to fold it up. See if I can... Now that the camera's rolling, that's when something will go wrong. But I think it's supposed to go back maybe further, like so. And then that comes in like that. There we go. And you kind of need 2 people to set it up. Or if you're behind it works like a charm. But that actually went better than I was expecting, considering the camera's rolling. This is another sterling set. This is Burke's Tudor Plain. very mid-century. So if you were doing a mid-century dining room setup, I think that would fit in beautifully. The box above it is a tobacco box or a cigar box, and as you pull the drawer out, that top slides back. But if you're at the viewing and you're doing it, just sort of ease it together so as not to strain it. We don't need to damage the mechanism at this late hour. The apothecary box, probably the nicest one I've ever seen. In fact, I'm sure it is, with a gajillion bottles in it. Look at all the stoppers. There's only a few spots for additional bottles. So definitely, again, probably the best one I've ever seen. Export A display. So an original retail counter board, and then somebody has put a kind of a fun display together of a mannequin that is effectively representing the Export A feature model or advertising model. These are outdoor pieces. This one's metal. Got concrete horses. There's a cat. Inside the cabinet, we've got soapstones and a bronze, carved scrimshaw, lots of Canadian pieces there. There is Alta glass. We'll get more into that later on. Again, soapstones. The sabotage there's two of those. There's an antique telescope down there. There's two of those. There's this one and another one. There's another horse here. This is an interesting chaise. I shouldn't say obviously. I'm assuming that this probably was a brown leather or something on the top of it before. And these are all drawers. All the original hardware is there. And then there's this interesting drawer. We had a little speculation as to what it was for. By all means, let us know. One idea was that maybe for a quilt or whatever, but then the stick was too high, but I don't know. Or is it just a big drawer? Just because the thing is there. I have no idea. This is a Billy Royal saddle. Model number 6100 is right on there. So you got silver plate decoration and conchos and stuff on there. This is a Victorian inlaid fold-over games table. Victorian cabinet there, obviously. Lots of oil lamps in the sale of different shapes and sizes and configuration. This is a two-piece, and I think it's designed specifically that way so that the base can be left where it says First Crier right on the bottom. You can see the name of the sculpture, but if you wanted to, you can very nicely rotate the piece to see all around it. And when you come and look at the detail in this alabaster of the lace bonnet that she's wearing and the tie-ups and the ribbon. She's got a dead bird in her hand. It's obviously died on her watch. She's crying. Her fingernail, her eyeballs. It's just absolutely stunning. It is a genuine antique Victorian piece. To me, it's the sort of thing that you see in the museums overseas. Same museums that I've been into. This is a Ferenz is the sculptor's last name, Italian. 202 in your catalog. So look that one up. There's some good research to be had. Lots of West Coast masks, carvings. There's a Victorian sewing table down here. 425 is the lot number. This is a computer. This is actually made by IBM. It's a time clock. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a straightforward deal. It's wound up like a regular clock. It's got a clock in it. And then as an employee, you're number 756. You come along. You punch in the morning or whenever your shift starts. And at the end of your shift, you come back. Other people are punching in and out on their number. You come back along at your number and punch out for the day. And somewhere there is some ribbons, then probably inside it, they come with it, or some ticker tape. And it says, I think it says right on there that if you don't punch it, you don't get paid. Simple as that. Pretty straightforward. Off camera down below is a 20-gallon Medalta crock. This is a terracotta. This is not a wooden piece. During the viewing, we're going to get some people that know more than I do, and I'd like some input on this one here, because I think that's an absolutely fantastic piece. I'm going to try and demonstrate this without screwing up on camera. Now, please don't use it for your children. Use this for your doll display and whatnot. But there it is, a high chair for your teddy bear. And then there it is, a play chair, low chair, whatever you want to call it. It's on wheels. How cool is that? Use it for your teddy bears there, though not your babies. Antique lances. When's the last time we had antique lances? There's two of them. 238 in your catalog. And I think the other one's numbered very close to it, but I don't see the tag. Oh, there it is, 239. They're right one after another. Very impressive pieces. Have a look in your catalog, genuine antique. So is the body piece, the front and rear chest panels, genuine antique pieces there. So have a good look in your catalog. Come and have a good look at them. We were a little bit vague because there's so many different variations and so on, so you need to come and have a look. 304, another fantastic piece. Lots of argument. Are these big hooks to tie it down so that it's on a ship? It's as heavy as a house, really. Genuine, proper antique, mostly oak, and it's old growth, dense wood. These latches on the front are not original. Those are replacements, and that's fine. The legend was that this was bought at an auction. I was told $20,000. Take that or whatever. By, of course, somebody who had money. It was an Edmonton Oiler. And then it made the rounds through the city here, and now we have it here. But apparently originally it was bought at an auction in England and shipped over here. Indonesian piece, not dissimilar. Obviously they complement each other on this one here, on the Madura chest, on wheels. Hand-done hardware there. Again, hinges have been replaced, so ignore the hinges and just look at the rest of it. But what a neat piece that is. Steinway & Sons piano. Steinway & Sons, model 1098, I believe it is, walnut. These are still a current available make and model, and they currently retail up in the $30,000 range. And this came to us from the Honkin' Big House. I'm going to venture to say it has very low miles on it because it was only played by a little old lady on Sunday after church. The reason I say that is because of the house. It was one of more than one houses, right? So the family had the people that we were working with are out of New York, and then they sold the house here, but also have a condo here. So how long could they possibly have been staying in the one house, right? So my guess is that it doesn't have a lot of miles on it. This folio is interesting. I'm just going to be careful. There's all 10 prints. There's only supposed to be 10, and all 10 of them are in here. Limestoned by Dennis Gedden, 1973. This is 83 out of 125, the lithographs. And I'll make sure I don't accidentally show it over to the naked one because there is some naked stuff in there. But they're all in there, which is interesting. Icebox here. These are original. You got some of your more hit you pie in the face European stuff. That's great. Some might discount these and think that these are just little etchings and so on. These are all original artworks, all military themed. Some by more known artists than others, but all fantastic. Same place as the Lances came from, etc. Really nice collection. And those are not the only 4 in the sale. There might be only 4 that I trip over as we're walking along, but they're not the only 4 in the sale. We got a couple of steampunk pieces, well described in your catalog. This is 106. These are fun. There's a on and off, all brand new wiring. But the fellow that makes these did a fantastic job. He made both of them out of components, and I think he's got quite the eye for it. So have a good look at those in your catalog. This is the larger of there was a second wardrobe. I called it the smaller one at the back. Kind of around the corner, we've got Haida masks, or West Coast masks. The 4 small ones that match, they're all from George Hunt, 60s and 70s carver, quite popular. The other one, I don't remember who it is, but 224 is your lot number. You'll be able to find it in the catalog. Sterling silver. This flatware down here, again, is sterling silver. This tea set is sterling silver, not the tray, but the 4 other pieces. Another antique telescope. That's the second one that we had, and maybe the other one was in the cabinet. We didn't really get to see it. More sterling. Neat trunks. It just kind of goes on and on. Not too much in the way of miscellaneous, because that's the whole point of the Thanksgiving Day sale. You don't have tray lots and shelf lots, and so the tables are less busy because there's more individual items, or onesie, twosies, threesies. You don't see the cabinet filled with tray lots of costume jewelry, but there's a lot of individual jewelry. You got a big binder full of appraisals. Again, make sure if there is an appraisal with your piece, which it'll mention in the catalog, to make sure that you are taking it with you. There's about a dozen or so antique pocket watches, again, all well described in the catalog. Some of the pieces to point out, well, you could point out all of them. I just happened to grab a few appraisals out of the book. This pendant here is diamond and tanzanite, appraises at $4,000. There's another one that is diamond and diamond, and that's this one here. The clear diamonds, and then you have the colored diamonds. That appraises at $4,750. There's a ring up here, lot number 335. That one appraises at $5,100. These are very realistic appraisals that we stand behind. They're not inflated. They're not horse puckies. They are real appraisals. The one in the middle here, 318, that appraises at $8,000 on the diamond. The little Trinity, the next to that one, lot number 184, that one appraises at $6,200. There's a little square-shaped bangle up on the stand there that has the rubies and diamonds, and that one appraises at $6,100. So again, make sure you get them all. And that's just a few pieces. There's also designer pieces, the David Yurman pieces. There's 3 or 4 of those. There's genuine Pandora pieces with lots of the Pandora beads on them, or whatever you call them. Beads, I think. Does that sound right? Here, this is fun. This was a little adventure from last week. They literally wrote the book on this. Derek and Ann McNanny. I went to their home and picked up their collection of Alta glass. They wrote this book that we're looking at, and you'll see mine in the collage of the items there. That's one lot that's in the sale, lot 112 Alpha, and I had them autograph mine. So that's my copy of the book. We're going to have their last selection of books for sale. We're just going to sell them on behalf of them. We're not, charging any extra to profit. And I think they were probably $30 or $35 when they were selling them. The last batch, we're going to sell them for $15 each. So if you want one, there is a little small box full of them here that we'll have at the viewing and at the sale. And again, like I said, they literally wrote the book on Alta glass. And the picture is on the back of the catalog, or the back of the book of Derek and Ann. Really nice people. And picked up the Alta glass from them that's in the sale. There's several lots of it, and some Carnival, but mostly it's the Alta glass that we're focusing on. And they were collectors for many, many years. I'm not 100% sure when they wrote this book, but they were collectors for many years. They put the book together. Lots of pictures describing the pieces, describing the factory itself, describing what some of the things mean, different colors. Talk about how the red is the most. I think it's either the red or the amethyst is the most rare. The red they use gold to make the color, but between the two of them, they are the more valuable, etc. There's the ways to identify them in the book here, some history, some engravings. It's a really interesting. I've only skimmed through it so far because I just picked this stuff up the other day, and so this is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun read. There's borosilicate pieces in the sale as well that belong to them. So again, remember, and I'll put a little verbiage together about them so that you can read that when you're here. So those books will be available for sale. We can't make out the signature on this piece, but that is a large older piece. That's a good old canvas, that one, and very well executed. So the picture of the signature is on the website, so you might be able to identify it, and by all means, you can send me a text message, 780-940-8378, an email, brad@brad-ward.com, phone call at the office, my cell I just gave you, phone call at the office, 780-451-4549. It's always interesting because if we see a signature and we can't make it out, other people do know what it is. So we just sort of walk past all the cool stuff that's in the sale, including this. This is a watchmaker's cabinet. It's filled with little vials, and it's got wrist strap pins in it. Oil lamps, primitives, brass and copper, miners' lanterns, Royal Crown Derby, Amari pattern. I think it's mostly 2451 in the sale, but lots of Amari. I think a virtually brand new carpet here. Wool, Iranian, 122 inches by 157 inches. That's why we didn't put it on the rack, just to get, it's hard to view them when they're that big on the rack, so we just have the one here. And because it's the Thanksgiving Day sale and we don't have as much busy furniture, we have that luxury. This is an Aaron Fink original. It's large, as you can see. It's lot number 140 Alpha. That'll help you look it up in the catalog, so the dimensions will actually be on there. It is untitled, labeled in the back, untitled double grapes. Well, it's obvious that it's double grapes. It's more of a description than a name. But it is an original, and Original purchase price was tens of thousands. It was actually about $35,000. In a gallery down the U.S. somewhere. Lots of smalls on either side, and not so much in the way of busy lots. You do have some little tray lots of traps. We have traps again. But you get a lot of more individual or more 3Zs, 2Zs, 3Zs, 4Zs. This is a little selection of shells are absolutely awesome. So I'm sure I've been rambling on too much. Royal Crown Derby Mikado, there was some in the other room. There's some here. Oriental pieces on the back that are in the shadow boxes. They came to us from the McNannys that with the Alta glass. However, they didn't collect them. So there was a friend of theirs that collected them, passed away. We don't have access to them. So I don't know if the person collected the pieces and had the shadow boxes done, or if that's how he bought them. I don't know anything about it. So they could be better pieces, or they could be not. I am sure I'll get some feedback during the auction. So what have I forgotten? wardsauctions.com, watch the website. The viewing is on the Friday 11th of October. This is 2019 we're working with. 11802 145th Street, Edmonton, Alberta. That's where we are located. It is Ward's Auctions on the building. The viewing, that's the viewing. The sale itself is on Thanksgiving, Monday, October 14th, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Doors will open at 9, so you can still have time to view, but Friday is the better day. Online viewing has already started by the time you're seeing this video. So, and again, you link that from our website, so you can get the catalog from our website and all the rest of it. So I'm Brad Ward. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you at the sale.